Welcome to A-Level and AP Physics. In today's lesson, we will discuss past paper questions from May June 2024, Paper 2, Variant 2. As always we will discuss these questions in detail so you can improve your conceptual understanding of physics and also you can have better understanding of these exam questions. Today's lesson, we will start from question number 2, and question 1 we have already covered in part 01. So you can check part 01 for question 1. Question 1 is very important one because that question is about uncertainties and measurements. Then students often struggle with uncertainties. So if you watch that video, it will clear your doubts about uncertainties. Let's study together. Let's improve together. Question 2 says a skydiver jumps from an aircraft at time t is equal to 0 and falls vertically downwards. The variation with t of her velocity v is shown in figure 2.1. For part A1, use figure 2.1. Use figure 2.1. Very important one. When questions say use figure, so it means that you have to use that one. So it's very important point. You need to follow instructions given in the question, not something by yourself. So we have to use this figure. State the terminal velocity of the skydiver. Terminal velocity means that when the velocity become constant. So here, so terminal velocity in a simple language we can say this is the constant velocity, final constant velocity. So simply we can say this is the final constant velocity. We call this is terminal velocity. Now if you look at this graph, we can find out the value of velocity. So here velocity is maximum. So simply we can draw the line here. So this velocity is maximum. You can see this is here. So simply we need to read from here. So if we read from here, so this is 40, so this is 39. Simply we can say this is 39. So terminal velocity is 39 meters per second because this unit is meters per second. So this is how you can figure out. The second part says by drawing a suitable line on figure 2.1, determine the acceleration of the skydiver at time t is equal to 9.0 seconds. Question said by drawing a suitable line on figure 2.1. So it means you should draw a line, tangent line. So how we can draw the tangent line at time t is equal to 9.0 seconds. So here we have 5, so this one is 10. So here we will have 6, here we will have 6, here we will have 7, so here we will have 8, so here we will have 9. So 9 is here. So it means that 9 is at this point. So this is 9. Now simply we need to draw the line at this point. Tangent line. So the best way to draw this one, draw first of all small line. So here we can draw here. So this is about the same gradient and then you can extend this one. So this is how you can draw tangent line. So I have already drawn, so I'll show you that one. So here, so we can draw the tangent line. Now simply we need to find the gradient of this because we have velocity time graph and the gradient of velocity time graph, gradient will be equal to delta v by delta t, and this is equal to acceleration. So simply we can say this is equal to acceleration. So what is the gradient of this? Gradient of this one, so we can take this point here and this is 40, 41, so this is 41 and we can read from here, so this is 26, mean this point, so this is 25, so this is 26 divided by time. So here we have time 15, mean this one is 15 and here we have 0. So this is minus 0. Now if we solve this one, in this case we will get 15 divided by 15. So this is not 2.6, this is 26. So in this case value of acceleration is 1.0 meters per second because data has 2 SF, so it should have 2 SF. You cannot write on 1 meters per second. So 1 meter per second is not right. So in this case your answer may not be exactly 1.0 meter per second, but your answer in this range is acceptable. Your acceleration in this range is acceptable. If answer is in this range, you will get 2 marks. Part B says the mass of the skydiver and equipment is 68 kgs. The upthrust on the skydiver is negligible. After reaching terminal velocity, the skydiver opens her parachute at time t1. A total drag force of 1800 newtons acts on the skydiver. Determine the magnitude and direction of acceleration of the skydiver at time t1. So simply we need to determine acceleration, and acceleration will be equal to the net force acting on the skydiver divided by the mass of the skydiver. So in this case, mass of skydiver plus mass of equipment. We are talking about the whole system. So it is given to us skydiver is falling downwards. So this is direction of velocity of the skydiver, and the force acting downward, this is mg. As skydiver direction of velocity is down, so the drag force on skydiver has to be in upward direction here. So this one is fd drag force, and magnitude of this one is 1800 newtons, and weight will be equal to 68 times 9.81. Now we need to decide one direction. So by convention we take up is positive. By convention we take up is positive. So you can take up positive. You can also take down is positive. So let's clear this one and try to understand this one with the help of downwards is positive. So we can take down is positive. So this direction we can decide as positive. So what is the F net in this case? So it means this one will be positive because this is in downward direction, and this one has to be negative. So simply we can say here we have 68 times 9.81 minus we have here, this is 1800, and this has to be divided by 68, means mass of equipment and skydiver. If we solve this one, in this case we will get 17 meters per second per second. As this quantity is bigger, so our answer will be negative. So negative in this case simply is telling us that direction is opposite to this direction. We have taken down positive, it means direction of this one is upward. So this is very important point you need to understand. Students often get confused with negative, positive. So we have taken down is positive, our answer is negative, it means direction is in the opposite direction, mean in upward direction. If we have taken down is positive, our answer will be positive. So let me explain you with that one as well. If we have taken, for example, up is positive, so acceleration will be equal to F net divided by m. Up is positive, so it means this one will be positive now, and this one will be negative. So simply we can say we have 68, so this one is negative 68 times 9.81 plus we have 1800, and this is divided by 68. So in this case our answer will be 17 meters per second, and this is positive. It means this is in the same direction as we have taken here. So we set up positive, answer is positive, it means they are in the same directions. So we can say acceleration is 17 and direction is upwards. So this is how you need to answer. Don't get confused with negative, positive. Just set one direction, take one direction as positive, and then just stick with that. If you got positive answer, it means that direction you have already set, and direction of the answer is the same, means the direction of quantity in your answer is the same. If negative, it means it is just opposite to direction you have already set as positive, nothing else. So just stick what you have set. Your answer always will be the same. Part C says the parachute is fully open at time t2. At a later time t3, the skydiver reaches a constant velocity of 5.7 meters per second. Describe and explain the variation with time of the magnitude of her acceleration between time t2 and t3. So in this case, first of all, we can say at t2, parachute is fully open, so we can draw here. So we have mg that is acting down, and the drag force Fd, this is acting in upward direction. So in this case velocity is in downward direction, but as resultant force is in upward direction, it means acceleration is also in upward direction. As acceleration is upward, velocity is down, it means person skydiver will slow down. So as velocity and acceleration, they are in opposite directions, it means skydiver will slow down. So this is one thing we need to understand. Slow down, it means the magnitude of velocity is decreasing. As magnitude of velocity decreases, it means that drag force will also decrease. As Fnet is equal to drag force minus mg. So if drag force go down, it means Fnet will also go down, and acceleration is equal to Fnet divided by m. So if Fnet decrease, it means acceleration will decrease. And finally a stage will come, means at t3, so we can write down here, at t3 mg will balance the drag force. Mean these two forces, they will be equal in magnitude. So when these two forces are equal, then Fd minus mg, this is equal to Fnet. So it means net force will be equal to 0. When net force is equal to 0, it means that A also will be equal to 0. When net force is equal to 0. So these are the points you need to understand to answer this question. So how we can answer this one? So first of all, we can say drag force decreases. So we can mention about this point. Drag force decreases. Why this decreases? Because the speed decreases. When speed decreases, drag force will decrease. When drag force decreases, Fnet will decrease. As Fnet decreases, acceleration will decrease. And finally, Fnet will be equal to 0. It means that Fd minus mg will be equal to 0. Or simply we can say Fd will be equal to mg. So this is we can include in our answer. Now let me show you the answer, how you can write on the answer. In the answer, we can mention these points. We have to describe and explain the variation with time of the magnitude of acceleration. Magnitude of acceleration is very important. So in this case, magnitude of acceleration with time is decreasing. Then we need to explain why it is decreasing. Because Fnet is decreasing and drag force is decreasing. Why drag force is decreasing? Because the speed is decreasing. So first we can say drag force decreases as speed decreases. As speed decreases, resultant force also decreases. So magnitude of acceleration decreases to 0 when weight balances drag. So this is how you can answer. This is a typical question. You need to understand how to answer this type of problem. Second part says calculate the change in momentum of the skydiver between time t1 and t3. So how we can calculate change in momentum? In order to calculate change in momentum, we can simply use delta p. This is equal to m times delta v. And mass of skydiver and equipment was given to us, that is equal to 68. So here we can say velocity v1. At time t1, velocity v1 was equal to 39 meters per second, and at t3 we can say velocity v3, and the value of this one is, magnitude of this one is 5.7 meters per second. Now simply we can write down v3 minus v1 and we can plug in values. 5.7 minus we have 39. So in this case our answer will be negative here, so we will get negative here, 2300 up to 2SF. So you have to use 2SF because the given data, this has 2SF and this has 2SF and this also has 2SF. So our final answer also should have 2SF. So we follow the least number of SF in given data. In the answer we follow the least number of SF in given data. As in this case we have 2SF, so our answer also must have 2SF, least number of SF. Let me write down here. So least number of SF. Least number of SF This is in data, given data. So we can say least number of SF in given data, and this one you have to follow to the final answer as well. So we can say final answer, final answer. So here final answer. So we can write down minus 2300 newtons per second. Minus sign here is telling us that momentum is decreasing. So this is our final answer. I hope you have better understanding of this question, and also you have improved your understanding about kinematics and forces. Today's lesson we will just stop here, and I'll try to upload remaining questions as soon as possible. If you're looking for extra resources, please join Patreon. On Patreon you will see resources are well organized, and also you will see more resources other than videos. See you in next video.